get a few stocks early on, maybe build some momentum. If you can really maybe set Patriot back where they go, listen, we actually haven't been in this situation yet. And meanwhile, DCHS, they've been in nothing but gruelers. So I think they'll be a little bit better tested if this goes to a long series. But the way Patriot has been playing, they have no indication of stopping.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I think it was the semifinals just before this where they lost, I guess, one set inside the series. I'm gonna mix up my terms a few times there for sure. But yeah, they did drop one, and that was in the entire bracket out of 12 to 15 games with all of these rounds. So a ton of games under their belt already, and a ton of winning games as well. You can already see that with Kai racking up now 100, 120 almost. There it is, the back air. No Arsene from Kai just yet, and just a nice little gimp off the side. Use that neutral B, aim it downwards, and if they're not snapping to the ledge, they're going to have a rough time with that. It's an early stock for Kai and his Joker, their Joker.
Yeah, early stock and a lot of early damage as well, and maybe this is the Patriot Smash that we just talked about that has been running through the bracket, basically flawless victory all the way through, so they want to definitely get off to the fast start, see if they can get that early 1-2-0 lead where they feel like they are really in the driver's seat, and they can maybe make teams, because having the counter pick, sometimes you can kind of overthink things where you think too hard about a matchup, or you think too hard about a stage, or maybe steer away from something that you're actually better at than you're thinking in the moment, so right now though, Patriot Smash, it has been an excellent start to the series.
Yeah, you're literally 2 stocks up, was almost even there, 1 stock up, and now you've taken the second, you're still chilling at 100%. You've got Rage as the Joker, which makes those early combos a tad bit harder with that extra knockback, so you're not racking up as much percentage, but then you get that Arsene, and you're killing at 80, maybe even quicker if you're close to the ledge. You have some insane kill setups as the Joker. That's why they've been so strong pretty well since release. Nice down air there from Inverse.
I'll say Kai seems to know their way pretty well around the Joker as well, because we are not quite at the level. I don't want to call for the 3 stock quite yet, especially given the damage, but Kai is looking like this might be an early potential exit for Inverse. Maybe they can try to at least get a stock back here, try to get a little bit of a reset in the game, a reset in the tempo, and then try to mount the comeback, because right now with the damage increasing as it is, you are definitely running out of chances.
Yeah, no more Arsene, and the kill gonna come through from Inverse. Still having to work back and basically perfect stock the rest of this game, right? You went down to 1. You got to take basically 3 full stocks in a row. And Kai, I mean, you've got all the life, all the stamina available, and extra stock. You have a nice like margin of error here to even just make a couple mistakes, get a little bit aggressive as well. The Arsene from Inverse, though. Kai not in kill percentage. So it means he has a sec to kind of chill, wait for maybe their own Arsene is now, I will tell you, that down air up smash will kill, or even just a raw F smash to take the first game. It's Kai from the side of the Patriots here in our first set of the series.
Yeah, that is a clinical first set out of Kai, only dropping the 1 stock, dropping it basically at the end of the game. It was an instant return combo. Like you said, you get a fresh set of stamina, get fresh everything, you get right back into the fight, and then you instantly find the knockout. So Patriot Smash and Kai definitely showing why they are the 1 seed, flexing the muscles early on. I mean, really doesn't get much better than that. You basically get 1 stock for free. You're able to get up to about 90 or 100 on the second one. You finally get taken out, and then it's just basically clean up, do the rest of the dirty work, and you're able to get that game 1 win.
Yeah, of course now, as the loser of that first game as well, Inverse does have the character counter pick as well as the stage counter pick, so we'll see Kai strike away, probably 2 to 3 there. And now, of course, counter pick stages are available too, so you got Final Destination on there, Hollow Bastion as well, which is essentially just Smashville. I think the Blast Zones are a little bit different there. And then that Kalos Pokemon League, which is a pretty popular stage as well, depending on the character, because those platforms are so far out that it's almost like something like a town and city, where depending on the character, you can get early kills on those platforms because you're that much closer to the side blast zones. Characters like Kazuya really like that for basically that exact reason there.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the curious thing getting into the next few games is now that you're starting off down on the back foot, DCHS, obviously we know they have been through the ringer, but this is when we start to see maybe some of these earlier counter picks to pocket picks. We did see some quite lengthy character rosters out of there, at least the information that we got, so maybe it's time to go a little further down the list, pull something out that maybe you were hoping to use later on, and maybe you have to show some of your cards earlier than you'd like, but definitely have to try to find a way to get a win because even though they've done extremely well in this bracket, when I see a team that has 3-0'd every single game, basically, and then they come out and they start like that, it gives me extremely high hopes for them.
Yeah, definitely a show of confidence there from Kai, I think is a good way to put it. And Inverse, you took some stocks, but it was really the speed of Kai's Joker was just a little bit high. Everything felt a tad bit cleaner from Kai, and I think that just brought through, right? This string gets an extra 20% off it because they extended out to the ledge. Obviously, the early kill first stock as well with that neutral B off the ledge, that helps out a ton. Taking the first stock and only giving up 50-60% yourself, you have such a lead and such an extra kind of shield and gap for yourself against that other player as well. So who knows, we could see the switch to something like the Inkling or the Cloud, or they might just rock with the Joker still.
Yeah, I guess it'll just depend on confidence level, especially going after the game one. Maybe you say, listen, I mean, if you're going into a Joker-Joker matchup, I probably wouldn't run that back against Kai, especially given how that one went. Sometimes, you know, ego can get in the way. You get a little prideful. You say, listen, not my best showing. If we run it back again, I'll be able to take it easily. But then that maybe takes away, because if you lose 2 out of 3 in the first one, then you go down 1-0 in the series, and you're relying on your teammates that are playing in behind you to kind of have to fill in the gaps and make up some of that room. So you want to try to make sure you at least get it to a 1-1 scoreline here, at least maybe try to get that first stock, like you said, just get some early momentum and at least kind of get that mental reset from the first round.
Yeah, and it is happening, not dipping into the secondary or third characters there. We've got the Joker Ditto being reran on this one. Just waiting on our stage pick right now. So, I mean, dependent on the player, right? Depending on how comfortable Kai is with other stages as well. PS2, one of the most popular stages in the game, has been pretty well since Melee there. So you never know. I mean, maybe we see a counter pick to something like the Kalos that I was mentioning, and Inverse wants to play a little bit more on the ledge, but they were having kind of a tough time just in terms of ledge control up against Kai anyways. So we'll have to see. It is going to be Kalos. I think I just called it there. Call it the Caster Curse or maybe the Caster Blessing. We'll have to see. But we should be ready to get into this game just now. Inverse, this is it. You got to try and tie up this best of 3 to keep your team really in good spirits as well, I think, right? You are right, Joe, but it does hurt always to go down 1-0 in the series. Especially in, you know, how dominant that first game was from Kai. I want to see Inverse try to keep it a little bit more even here. Gets the Arsene early and not down too much percentage when they finally do grab that.
And listen, going to a lot of game 5s can be a two-sided coin. It can be a blessing in that you get truly battle-tested. You have seen everything. You have played through everything. But it can also be draining on you when it's like every single series. It's like you have to muster up every single ounce of strength that you have just to try to make it to that game 5 and then push yourself over the edge. And this time, though, Inverse, they're going to draw first stock here.
Yeah, and that's good looks for DCHS and Inverse. 90%, so kill range for Joker, even non-Arsene Joker, just base Joker there, does have some setups. They're much harder to actually execute. I will give you that. You gotta, typically, I think it's that down throw into the drag down up air or something along those lines, or fast fall first hit forward air. I'm trying to remember there myself, but I'm sure we'll see one of these players show it off regardless. Inverse doing a good job at keeping the lead here, and keeping center stage control is such a big thing for them right now. That dash attack, eventually it'll kill, right? You're at 150, and it's Arsene Joker.
Say, no pun intended, that was kind of the inverse of game 1, where Inverse was the one that gets the first stock. The percentage looks just about even. You get that extra little chip damage, but ultimately Kai battling back in a big way so far. But Inverse right now just keeping them at arm's reach, doing a great job trying to control the ledge of the stage at least. And then when it comes to the middle to fight for control, Inverse seemingly, like you said, just locking it down. Kai can't really get where they want to be, and yeah, just kind of getting jailed on the outside.
And just the adjustments that we've seen from Inverse this game are phenomenal. Working at the ledge, constantly using that fast fall neutral air to kind of just deal with any kind of jump outs from the ledge. And then to catch the roll, you have the forward tilt as well, kind of the double stab with the dagger there. And you just get to read every single one of Kai's moves and really just determine the best option for it. Wait for your own Arsene. Grab that kill with the back air. Now you're up a stock on Kai once again. Kai seems a little flustered by this too.
Yeah, listen, I mentioned that if some of these teams, when everything is just going so well, adversity can be a very big challenge to try to make it out of. And so far, Inverse, though, it's been the same story. Try to play me on the right side of the stage, and you are going to be sad about it after. Kai just trying to fight for any sort of control anywhere on the stage right now, because it seems like Inverse is just running the show wherever the fight takes place.
Yeah, look at this. One more stock, maybe. Oh, that was a long grapple from Inverse. Might have just given up one of their own lives there. And Kai, no! The fast fall, just unable to catch themselves. Inverse takes that one in a little bit anticlimactic fashion, but you know what? You take those games anyway, they will come, and you were already up a nice stock. You only had, I think, was 50-60% on that second stock. Quite literally the complete opposite of what we saw in game one. Did exactly what Kai did right back to them. Just a little bit of their own medicine right there, and it worked so well for Inverse. Just micro adjustments, and I think almost just taking a second in a lot of those situations to think and just let Inverse move first, like a don't act but react situation.
Yeah, and I think for Inverse, just getting that first stock, I think it completely changes the way that you can kind of assess the game and kind of attack the game, because when you're playing from behind, especially playing into a strong player, you have to kind of open up some more of these windows that you might get punished, but you have to try to make some of these plays to get back in the game. Otherwise, you just slowly lose the war of attrition, and that percentage point slowly goes up. The stock doesn't really change at all. So for Inverse to get the first stock immediately and then able to just battle consistently throughout the rest, I think they only lost one stock by the end of it. So you end up flipping the script. You go 3-1 instead, and that is exactly what you were looking for. And listen, this is a team we know has fight in them, and starting off in game one already, we are getting shown a lot of it.
Yeah, and I think the war of attrition is a good way to break down the Joker matchup too, because you have this insane power with Arsene to actually take stocks and have various pretty easy confirms at that, whereas in that regular Joker form, your base form, you're racking up the percent, you know, you're getting 30% off a string here, 40% there, but it's a lot harder to extend those, so you kind of have to slowly chip away, keep your stage control, and then if you're smart enough about it, right, you pop that down B, you get the counter, you get the Arsene at the right time, and you'll just be able to find any confirm. I really do think that the biggest one, and still what feels like the strongest one on Joker, down air with that Arsene, you drop to the floor, you charge the up smash, and depending on the percent, you even have like a little bit of time to charge it sometimes, so you can really grab some early stocks and early leads with that one, and it feels good when you're able to do that too. I mean, ask Inverse right there. It's definitely feeling good bringing yourself to game 3 in our first set of the series here. Next one, gonna be Jokers once again. This time, no platforms around. We're going straight to FD. Final destination, no items. Let's see it.
I actually like the Joker run back as well, because both players, right, they both were able to get a win. So at this point, it's like, listen, we're pretty evenly matched. Let's take this to final destination. No funny business, just me and you, one-on-one to see who was going to walk away with the game 1 win to at least get their team hot and started off nice in the best of 5. Patriot Smash, I mean, the fact that I think they've only maybe lost 1 game all day. They have not started down 0-1 in any series in this playoff bracket, so that would instantly add a very interesting layer to this this equation of a series.
Yeah, already though, completely different situation here from Kai as opposed to game 2. Keeping the space quite nicely and has already gotten Inverse into an Arsene situation. F smash at the ledge. Oh, that down air goes wide. Inverse got a little greedy for it, gave up the stage control as well, puts themselves in a tough situation up against Kai and the Arsene. There it is. The triple shots from the neutral B make it even easier to grab those little ledge guards.
So far, though, it is looking more like a Game 1 Kai. This is exactly the kind of aggression, the forward pacing, and just the amount of sheer damage output. Kind of what Inverse was doing last game, just controlling the edge of the stage, making sure that they're fighting on their own terms. You don't have to play off the back foot or play from behind. You can just keep pushing that aggression, build up that percentage, and then eventually, with Joker, not that hard to find the knockout shot, and Kai obviously has done a great job of it so far.
Yeah, the beautiful part about Joker is a lot of characters, right? You have some smash attacks that just aren't going to be able to actually finish off the stock unless you're at super, super high percents. Once you get Arsene, and even before that, you have some pretty easy options at around this area right here, 110, 120 is when a lot of those, 1-2 strings that will actually grab the stock are available for Joker. Tough part on FD is just not having those platforms, so you don't necessarily get any of your drag downs or any of your, fancy combos, we'll call them there. Some of the harder ones to execute. That throw, not going to take it just yet.
Yeah, either one of these players, surely one of the next few hits has got to be the stock getting taken. Am I going to get popped up for a hot second? And just going to return fire back on Inverse. We are even percentage. Finally, Kai's going to find that shot to take the stock down. And now, once again, it is 3-1 in Kai's favor. Inverse has work to do, unfortunately, though. Stuck in a bit of a chain there for a few moments. And all this percentage, you really can't afford to lose much more. Kai is sitting at 180, so you should be able to find the stock. You are able to instantly take it after there. But now, Inverse, you're going to be down to your last stock, and it's all going to be on Kai to try to finish.
Yeah, from Kai, I think it was 2 regrabs there. I think it was 3 grabs total, if my eyes weren't mistaken me there. And that's one way to read your opponent. Definitely get into their head a little bit, watching those instant air dodges off the down throw, and just waiting for them to fall back to the ground. They're still in those lag frames, and you just able to grab that grab once again. Inverse.
It seems like it's just Kai for that slow victory, doesn't just a slow burn.
Inverse gonna have to work extra hard here. Does not have this Arsene advantage that Kai has built up right now either. Kai goes a little deep for that, gives up the control, and Inverse, jumps back into that side B and puts themselves right back off the ledge. Kai into a perfect position, not going to get the sweet spot, no spike to be found off the ledge, but the forward smash will take it. Impressive. That, my friends, is game 1, going over to Kai and the Patriots of George Washington High School.
Yeah, that's a great showing out of Inverse as well, because we see game 1 start that way. Sometimes you see someone get that first stock taken, they end up losing 3-1, I think, by the end of it. And sometimes it's just like, we're playing the same character. Am I just getting outplayed? Is this player that much better than me on one of my better picks? But then game 2, you flip the script. You say, okay, I got an answer. You go over to the game 3, obviously, and Kai is just able to slowly but surely, I say slowly, they get the first stock relatively quickly, and then, like I said earlier, it's just that slow burn of, I'm going to keep making sure that percentage is going up on you, and I'm just going to protect my life as best as I can, because I know I have faith in myself to eventually find those stocks, and if I can just keep 3 on the board as long as possible, I think it took up to like 200% to finally get the stock. So Kai just played a very, very smart, patient game. Yeah, played a smart, patient game, and that is game 1 for the Patriots.
Yeah, now, waiting on this, we do know, of course, for set 2, what this means is that DCHS will have the counter pick moving into this. So I'm assuming that means they do have it for the entire set now that there's been a winner actually determined,
I would assume,
from set 1 there. So you do have advantage and kind of a little bit of freedom to pick both your character and your stage depending on how that first matchup goes. There in game 1. We'll have to see exactly who the players will actually be in this one, because the order is picked by these schools, but I believe it's kind of, hidden a little bit from the other side, so you're not having any, any finesse in there in the early picks. So I think we already mentioned it too. Like, you got to kind of go through the whole order. You have to play all three of those players before you can kind of double back and give, I guess, two players max a second set there if you go all the way to that set 5 there in the series. It's going to be Cal, aka a Caleb, but playing on the Kazi. I believe that's from the Patriot side of things. That will be. And then Dean there, aka Legend in game. That's going to be Little Mac. So that is a matchup. That is two characters who like to be in your face. They like to get early kills. Kazuya on one hand is looking for 0 to deaths for the most part and very, very hard hits. Little Mac is in the same boat, but Little Mac, of course, is a boxer, trying to find their strings, weave in and out, and really play that ground game. But it will be interesting to see because Kazuya's got aerials, but it's not exactly a character that you think of about playing in the air. I mean, Tekken and Punch-Out, two very literal grounded close quarters combat games, like, at their core, and that of course translates into Smash. Their characters fit very, very well with their themes, and now we're seeing the speed of Little Mac picking up early percent on Cal here.
The one thing I liked the second we saw the matchup, I knew this was going to be scrappy as ever because these two characters, like you laid out perfectly, they demand it, and Legend looking for the uppercut knockout there, just not enough quite over onto Cal, but this has been an excellent start for Legend, and yeah, DCHS, they're answering back.
That's literally just a forward tilt. That's not even a smash attack. Kazuya, a floaty character, doesn't have great recovery, but not light by any means either, and you can pick up very early kills like that. I know on some stages, I know on Town and City, there's a throw that's basically a command throw. I think it would work on Kalos as well with those wide platforms. But that throw will take stocks at 40%, if not less, if you're close enough to the ledge. Try to find the 2-frame there. Legend unable to find it. And as things have evened out, that electric could mean a combo, but great DI from Legend to not get caught in the follow-up hit. KO punch back online. Might not even need it, though.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing for Legend. It's that you are doing amazing work, but you are staring across the screen at a Kazi. It's you know that the second that percentage is even tinted yellow or orange in those numbers, that you are in very much range to get absolutely taken down.
All it evens.
Just like that. And yeah, we are even Stevens for the last stock, but we have seen Legend getting off to these extremely fast starts, and this time seems to be no different.
What triple down smash attempt right there. Hit the first two, and the last one, Cal, a little privy to it if you're going to keep popping that one out. Rage is online for the Kazuya. As long as they don't get caught at the ledge right here, like we've seen Legend be able to do more than a few times, right? This is Kazuya we're talking about. As long as you have the execution, you have the kill opportunities from basically any percent. You just got to play it out well. There's the Rage onto the down B. It's a great, great move to try and finish off the game, but not that early percentage-wise. So we'll have to see. There it is, Legend. The last hit gonna be good, and the Little Mac, just the sheer speed from the boxer right there. Kazuya could not hold up.
Yeah, speed, timing, precision, power. Legend had it all right there, able to basically have a one-stock lead the entire game. They get first stock, and even though there was great answers out of Cal, we saw them go evens getting into the last stock, but just great work out of Legend. The second they would reset center stage, it was coming at you with these hands, and I'm going to throw a flurry at you, and luckily able to find a lot of damage very, very quickly. We said that would be a complete fist fight of a set, and depending on if the characters get ran back, it might be a bit more of the same story, but Legend, that is exactly what you were looking for, especially out of a pick that, you know, don't really see it that often.
Little Mac is, and this is not like opinion, is considered one of, if not the worst character in the game, right? Very, very glaring weaknesses. The second you get tossed off of stage, you're dead to a lot of characters. You're not finding your way back onto that stage, but Kazuya is someone who can't necessarily fight you in the air like that, wants to fight on the ground, especially a lot of the combo starters for Kazuya and a lot of those strings. So Little Mac kind of gets the advantage just in terms of sheer speed. Also, Kazuya, this was a big factor, and we saw it in that game, the run speed. Little Mac zooming around. If they're on the ground, they're, you know, almost keeping up with Sonic for the most part. And Kazuya is slow and heavy. It's like a Ganon that was turned into like a typical fighting game character like the Terrys and the Ryus. Just couldn't keep up with the Little Mac and those little tilts, the little 1-2 jabs, and not to mention just raw smash attacks center stage. The down smashes were stuffing combos left and right from Cal there.
Yeah, it's a bit like Rocky and Drago, right? It's like, you might be able to take me out in 2 or 3 shots, but if I sit here and pepper you in the pocket for 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to be able to find that percentage and eventually get those stocks that I need. So, Legend right now on the front foot, able to win the first set. And now we're going to see if Cal can find the answer and try to get Patriot Smash evened up here as they look to move up to a 2-0 lead. And Legend putting in some work already.
Switched over the pallets as well, went from the gold suit, I believe. This is like that Tekken 3 one. That's a good setup. The side B, especially at that percent, gonna mean an early kill. This is the one thing. Kazuya is one of those characters who can actually grab earlier kills than Little Mac. And, you know, you'd think bringing it to Final Destination, losing those platforms, would actually be a nice boon to the Little Mac. But I think it's just those early hits. Cal, unbelievable right now. And this Legend as well on the Little Mac has been known for DCHS as a heavy carry for their team, has played over 30 games this season alone for DCHS and is constantly taking those. The KO punch at the ledge. Early stock. Legend flips this around before I can even finish breaking down the season.
Yeah, he was like, oh, you're gassing me up, say less, I'll put on a performance, and 2 stocks in maybe 15, 20 seconds or something in that ballpark, and all of a sudden, Cal was looking primed to take this one and walk away with it very cleanly, and Legend has found a big answer in a big way, and all of a sudden, Cal is now the one basically on their last legs, potentially. You're sitting at up over 100. We know Legend has knockout power in those hands, and
that's a kill.
So does Kazuya.
The stock is there. That's the full charge. You know there's a punish coming after that. And Kazuya, when there's no platform to fall on, you have different combos that you gotta use, but they still work. That's it. Doesn't even need the KO punch. That forward tilt was such a great way to finish off stocks for this Little Mac, and it sends at such a perfect horizontal angle that even if the Kazuya was living, they had to fight and fight to get back to the stage there. So Legend putting on a nice performance for DCHS, and they're able to tie up the series at that, which means we're at least guaranteed a game 4, which means we're going to be seeing these players start to get rotated through after our 3rd set here. And I think with those 2 down, that means we know exactly who will be in our final game. That'll be Toot Will for Patriots, going to be on Lucas/Ness, so maybe depends on what they're feeling there. And for DCHS, we've got Majora left, playing mainly, living up to the name, playing Ganon as one of those picks. Also has the Ken in there, which is, you know, pretty, not similar to the Kazuya, but right, it's another one of those fighting game characters, often playing a more grounded game before you get into those air combos. And this is kind of a crazy one. The Hero is put through as the 3rd possible character there. Hero, I've got no words on it. You're playing an RPG while you're in the game. You're pulling up menus. It's so RNG based, yet
AFK
somehow
farming.
it's RNG but consistent at the same time. Because you're able to, as long as you kind of have the speed on your thumbs, right? You're canceling the menu, pulling it up. You're literally re-rolling your 4 spells every few seconds and just waiting for those. It truly is an RPG character in that sense, just re-rolling until you get those perfect stats or that move that you want on your build, basically. And it will be, okay, so it's Lucas versus Terry in this one. So that means Majora's got to be, maybe instead of the Ken, has switched over to the Terry. I mean, if you've already got the inputs down from the Ken, you can shift those over to Terry pretty easily. With the shortcuts in Smash Bros, you don't have to do any of the crazy. King of Fighters Terry has motion inputs that are literally shaped like a pretzel. Like, you got to do a whole figure 8, basically, on the joystick. But Smash, you have little shortcuts for those. So I think it's like double quarter circle will get you some of your go moves there, like your upgraded Buster Wolf and the Power Geyser as well. But Terry's got, I mean, very consistent damage, very easy combos. Jab, jab, power dunk basically never fails. That would be jab, jab into, I believe it's the down B is going to be that power dunk. I'd have to check once again there. It's been a while since I've been in a game on that character, but first stage should be coming up too as well. So we'll just have to see there. I think they're just waiting on this one, waiting on that update. But Terry will be locked in over there from Majora, so that's a nice shakeup. We're getting a lot of these fighting game characters for the most part here.
I think I enjoy watching a lot of I just like watching people fight.
Yeah, I want to see the hits on screen.
It's more like cinema when you get some of the more airborne characters that look so much more majestic, but there's just something about two people just scrapping it out and just let the best player win, especially like the last one we saw. Kazuya, Little Mac, they're going to fight in the phone booth at center stage, and they're going to say, listen, I'm going to do more damage than you, and the other one's going to say the same thing, and they're going to trade until somebody eventually goes down. And now for DCHS, do you have Patriot Smash right where you want them? You are the Game 5 kings of this bracket so far, and we're going to at least the Game 4, so Patriot Smash is already going to be going a little farther in the series than they'd probably like, but with a 1-1 scoreline, Lucas and Terry on Pokemon Stadium, we are ready to see who can break the tie.
Yeah, Majora tried to read that roll on the wake up, gets punished for it, and spends some time off stage. Terry's going to have a hard time making it back, but does get that invincibility before the PK freeze actually pops. But just a sitting duck now trying to get back on stage, up to 100% just to try and get some kind of control on the ground here. Wow. Not even able to use the go moves. It was even for a second, and then Tootwill basically just used everything in that Lucas repertoire to not only have the spacing, but also finish that off. The up smash on landing at the ledge was very nice, and of course, jab, jab, power dunk never fails.
Yeah, Majora has dialed in at least the last little bit, chained a few combos together, got some damage up there, but now this Lucas is angry and he's looking for an answer. Tootwill doing a fantastic job to basically negate all that damage they just took, and just like that, things were looking slightly bleak for a few moments, but just like that, a ray of sunshine, and now you're up 2 stocks.
That's the Lucas effect. You are taking these little hits like that just keep getting chained in, and the one tough part, especially as the Terry, who doesn't have insane movement, whereas in comparison, Lucas in Ultimate moves like a melee character if you're playing one of those more grounded players like Terry, and I mean, just moving on him for the most part. The 3 stock in game 1 from Tootwill. I don't got much to break down there. It was just clean string into some kind of smash or the PK freeze that we saw at the end there as well to take the stock. That's it's just Lucas, so fast and hard to keep up with sometime. Those multi-hits, very hard to parry as well. We were seeing Majora there trying to hit the parry, hit the perfect parry on a few of the first hits, but you got to time those pretty nicely to actually parry, the 3-4 hits on the neutral air there. It's tough.
And Tootwill was just hitting him with all the elements. Would you like fire, earth, wind, or water? I got something for you no matter what. Freeze off stage, hit him with the lightning bolts, pop him up with the up B, the lightning. It was basically everything in the tool belt was at their disposal. They maximized everything, and I mean, it was like a 2-minute 3-stock. Like you said, there's not really a lot of analytical breakdownism. It was just clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word we typically use for that is a stomping, is what it felt like. And going into game 2, right, these are best of 3 sets right here. So a win from Tootwill right now would bring the Patriots to our match point here in the grand finals. They're 1 game away from really putting DCHS on the ropes there, kind of backs against the wall situation. And that's what I was going to say. It might be where DCHS thrives. The game 5 merchants, the demons there in the game 5, just the clutch gene seems to be alive in DCHS. So maybe that'll even translate into this set itself. We'll have to see if Majora can really keep up, because I don't know after that first one.
Yeah,
Will
like,
there
where do you start?
was just on a separate level in terms of speed and movement on the ground, especially.
And I feel like that game can almost be tough too, because you look and it's like, I could switch the stage, I could switch my character, but I don't even know. It feels like everything just went wrong for 3 minutes. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's 4 things, there's 4 variables I could change. Which one of these is actually going to make a difference? Is it going to make a difference? Because at least if you get a stock or two, you kind of get an idea of like, okay, the matchup wasn't terrible, it wasn't fantastic, the stage was fine, but you walk away from that and it's like, nothing really worked.
There was no situation of, oh, if I just, adjust this or play around this, I'm going to be able to get, my stock back or bring it down to 1 stock apiece. It just didn't feel like that was an option there from the DCHS side. So you really got to, like, bring this back down to basics, maybe even a deal with a little character switch, but it looks like that's not happening. We're getting the run back, same characters there. Just going to have to see. I mean, we did see from DCHS, right? Game 1 or set 1 there. Inverse was able to kind of, show the inverse on game 2. They weren't able to take the whole set, but it was something to just kind of show, hey, you can kind of get dominated a little bit first game and still make those adjustments. We are going to be switching stages back to that Kalos, which we saw in an earlier set there as well. I think that was actually the inverse game that I was just talking about, was over on Kalos. So we're going to get that here in set 3, and we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm fingers crossed that we get a game of 3. I'm always here to see more Smash Bros. Action, to get more excitement out of it, but tough for this Terry to play. I mean, you have 1 projectile to kind of match up, and it's essentially just a worse PK fire.
Yeah, I think the best angle for Majora is try to find as many opportunities where 2-Twill opens themselves up, where you can maybe try to find a punish, because other than that, it was 2-Twill basically W keying and hitting every button on the controller, and everything was chaining together perfectly last time around. So Majora, honestly, this isn't even a bad idea. Slow the game down, keep a little bit of distance, maybe try to get 2-Twill to maybe, play a little bit overconfidently, especially after such a dominant game 1. Sometimes the player will walk out, play a little looser, maybe not play quite as fundamentally strong, and you can maybe try to catch him in some form or fashion. But right now, 2-Twill, it looks like it is primarily same old story.
Yeah, and I love the way 2-Twill not overplaying the projectile game here, tossing 1 or 2, and then waiting for Majora to commit to some kind of movement, choosing the option off of that. It just means a lot of these opening attacks are stuffed by Majora. We'll see a little jump in, and it's just an instant, neutral arrow to shield right there. And now you get this little string to kind of combo off of. You even get a little bit of a wake-up situation out of it if you do end up getting the knockdown as well. So you have a ton of options as this Lucas, and it feels like the options just keep getting thinner and thinner on the Terry side of things, at least. I mean, finding more percentage, but getting caught off stage. The 1, 2, 3, giving him a little bit of the heals there. Grabs that second one, and Majora, this is it to try and keep your team in this right now. Not wanting to give away match point, but an uphill battle at that.
Yeah, I talked about trying to find those small windows to punish where maybe 2-Twill makes a mistake and Majora goes for it on the side of the stage,
like
obviously. Yeah, exactly like that, basically. This time at least went a little bit better. You don't end up losing a stock on your own, but ultimately the state of the game is looking very identical to the first one, with 2-Twill sitting at just above 100, but has Majora very, very close to kill shot range, basically already there if they're able to land the right combo in the right set there. And looking to send them 500 feet out of left field, but not enough. And there it is. The second try back onto the stage for Majora will go nowhere. And that was a very, very strong performance.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised the first one, the home run there, didn't actually hit. It just ended up being a nice, double play. It was a double play in the end. It was still pretty solid, but yeah, I'm honestly surprised. Some good DI there from Majora at that, but the DI, it's just not enough to save you if you are down, 2 stocks, 3 stocks still, and the percentage just keeps racking up. pretty well just overwhelmed by Will there.
Yeah.
2-Twill on the Lucas, and definitely showing us a reason why there's so many 3-0s there in the record for the Patriots there of George Washington. And so
Yeah.
we'll have to see. We're moving into set 4 now, score being 2-1 for the Patriots up against DCHS there. And what
Now
this
it's
does mean, yeah, now teams get to kind of pick and choose who exactly do we want. In terms of, I don't believe they actually get a counter pick of like player. Like, I don't think George Washington is gonna, say we're bringing 2-Twill back in,
Yeah.
and then DCHS kind of gets to choose back and forth.
Yeah.
So we'll have to double check here. I think we do have that. So we're gonna have back to Kai from the side of Patriot Smash over on the Joker, as well as Legend there, who
Okay.
after that first one, I gotta assume you're picking up the Little Mac again.
I think you have to, right? You got to ride the hot hand. That was, I mean, it's been not the only bright spot because you did get a game on Joker, but that was essentially your lone bright spot. I mean, you're down 2-1.
Yeah.
You just got 3 stock 2 times in a row. I mean, that was the best showing that you've had. You're able to win it in relatively easy enough fashion. You controlled the stage against the Kazuya. Definitely liked what we saw out of Legend. We talked about how many games they had played, how much time was put in over this last season alone of trying to get better at the game and make sure they are ready for the grand final spot. And that's another thing to think about too. This is a grand final. Sometimes early in a series, those nerves hit in a little bit. You don't exactly play the same style you would if you're sitting on the couch next to some of your buddies. The stakes kind of get amplified. The senses get heightened. So maybe it was just a bit of a slow start for DCHS, but now Legend, the ringer coming in, this has got to be it.
Yeah, it has to be, and you gotta clutch up here. I mean, Legend has that one set win for DCHS there, has what I want to say, I think, is the confidence under their belt as well, coming off of that strong series up against the Kazuya, and bringing the Little Mac back in. You might have a little more actual off-stage contention from this Joker. No, actually, now that
Did
I
you
say
see
it,
our update? I was gonna say, did you see the
oh, Mewtwo
been an
versus
update.
Little Mac. So no Joker there, and that's kind of crazy. As we're even our admin here is like, we have no clue where the Mewtwo came from, but the pick is in. I like to see it, but Mewtwo is a very light character. I think maybe a little heavier than Little Mac. I'd have to probably check the charts on that one. But I don't think, personally, I don't think has as good of an off-stage game as the Joker. Yeah, you have that nice double jump, which is very high. It's similar to like a Yoshi double jump, if you want to think about it like that. But I think the Joker has way better ledge options, especially with the neutral B. The pistols there, those projectiles are really good to just stuff someone like a Little Mac who typically can't zip to that ledge too easily.
Yeah, and Legend.
That big hitbox not helping either.
That's the best part about Smash physics, is that Mewtwo is considered like light and floaty, even though he's built like a small forward that plays for the Lakers. He's like 6'6", built perfect, like perfect frame and everything for height and weight, and still able to fly around with grace. But Legend so far has been the best player for DCHS. This is exactly the kind of start that you needed. You're down 2-1. You don't really have any more time to make any more mistakes, and so far Legend living up to the name.
Yeah, that up throw will start to take stocks pretty early here. That is the nice part about Mewtwo. You get a grab on the Little Mac. You have very easy options, not only to throw them off stage, but once you get high enough percentage, actually take stocks. But Legend, not even letting it phase them. I'm at 127%. Sure, dash attack, find the stock, still keep themselves at a 1-stock lead, even after losing that one just now. Kai has to work double time on this. I want to see more of those down tilts and the forward tilts from Kai right now, just to kind of control the space on the ground a little bit better. Little Mac's not necessarily going to be jumping at you, so use some of your big hitboxes you got to really control that.
Yeah, it seems like Kai just hasn't really been able to get a ton of offense going, only in little stretches and little spurts, but they haven't really been able to fully dominate his stock and, like you said, control one of the ledges of the stage, really put Legend on the back foot and not let this Little Mac just put that pace on you. And once we saw Legend put the pace on earlier, I mean, there was no signs of stopping. They put the pace on, they walked forward, and they threw left and right hands. until victory was achieved. And just like that, Legend grabbing another dub for the squad.
Yeah, 1-0 in the series. Legend trying to bring them to that penultimate game 5. And another great showing out of Legend. I mean, we will say that Mewtwo pick was completely out of left field. I don't really know where it came from, but maybe it was just a thought. Maybe Kai's not comfortable on the Joker into this Little Mac. I mean, you have to assume with Legend playing, what, 30 games in the season, I think we said, there's a high chance that these two have actually met before within the Colorado high school side of things. Maybe just knows that matchup a little better for themselves and is like, I need to pick something other than the Joker. I need to do something. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was 27 games on Joker and 1 game on Zero Suit Samus somewhere. Nothing on the Mewtwo, unless it's just been like a pocket pick, been in the lab for a little bit. But we'll have to see. I don't know. After that one, I kind of want to see a switch, but the run back looks like it's locked in here. Kai, if you're not switching characters, you got to switch up the play style a little bit because Legend is on it right now and is not going to give an inch. You need to step up to that level as the Mewtwo and really start trading a lot better in like the mid percentages here in these stocks.
Yeah. And I'm never one to try to make fun of any picks because the roster is so big and there are so many matches. But sometimes we see a funny pick and we're like, this looks like an excellent Joker player. Looks like at least they picked up the Zero Suit Samus in like actual competition, not just playing online or anything. And then grand finals up 2-1. Nah, lock Mewtwo.
Yeah, just
lock it in.
Let's hit the Mewtwo there. Yeah, it was clearly a solo Joker main for the most part. But game 2. Here we are, gonna be moving to Pokemon Stadium. So none of those counter picks, just another starter. PS2, of course.
Uh-oh.
Classic here. There we go. That neutral air is something you gotta pull out a little bit more on the Mewtwo as well. You can get some nice loops with that if you're able to find them in the right spot. And sometimes you can chain together 2 to 3 if you've got the fast fall timing right.
Yeah, definitely a better game out of Kai so far. I mean, looking...
Oh, wanted that spike so bad.
Ooh.
Gets punished for it as well. Kai, you know what I will say? That Joker Arsene spike would not have missed like that. the Mewtwo
would never.
It is an insane sweet spot to try and hit. Like, we were seeing Tootwill hit some of those sweet spots on the Lucas moves, which are hard. I think that Mewtwo one might even be a little bit smaller. You got to be perfectly spaced on that. It's tough to do. But keeping it even regardless. The throws help a lot in that regard. I want to see more of just grab Little Mac at the ledge and toss them off the stage to put Legend in a tougher situation. That's how you beat Little Mac. It's how you've done it all the way since Smash 4. Toss them off the stage, make Little Mac play in the air. It's where they are the weakest. It's what you got to prioritize here. Let's see it.
The worst part is I think that might honestly be Kai's strategy because even in the first game, they were on the ledge trying to at least flip the positioning and trying to get Legend on the side the entire time. But like you said, they were just getting peppered and getting bullied for too long in the first game. They really couldn't ever establish that power position or make the one to force Legend to have to one to try to get some kind of recovery off stage. It was always Kai basically fighting for their life. So definitely a bit of a script flip so far, but Legend straight right down the pipe, and now it's only one more stock for Kai before we are locked up in the grands.
Legend actually embodying float like a butterfly, sting like a bee right now. Dancing around this stage, waiting for the perfect opportunity for that 1-2 jab or the forward tilt right there. I guess the jab is an actual move in Smash, so can't call it that necessarily, but
jab.
Super armor on the smash attacks. That's what you get as Little Mac as well. So you get to tank a little bit of hits, and you just pop that final smash attack. And guess where we're headed, Jobin? The Patriots, now the ones who it feels like they've been pushed to the corner a little bit, but just one more series. And we'll have to see who these teams actually nominate. I gotta say, though, I will not be surprised if it's Tootwill from the Patriots side just because of the sheer speed of the games on the Lucas there and the dominance that we saw from them. I think from what we saw today, if you want anyone to finish off your grand finals and take you to that victory, give me that crown, it's got to be 212 right there.
I mean, anyone, obviously, if you could play another, do your players again, it would be Legend, I think, especially after they are 2-0. The series is 2-2. You do the math on that one. They are keeping their team in the series right now. And honestly, even before looking at who's going to get locked in, I think I would just have to blind predict DCHF. It does feel like there's some bracket juju happening where now that we're in a game 5, it's gotten to this point. Legend really bossed up the 2 times they had to show up and show out. And now we're in the game 5 for Grands. Patriot has not been here the entire bracket. They had the 2-1 lead. They thought maybe the Mewtwo was going to be the play. Evidently, it was not. And now it's a game 5. Everything is on the line. Your season is on the line. Ooh, the pressure.
Yeah, and we've got our 2 players, our final nominees and our final competitors here. That's going to be 212 on the Lucas, presumably once again. I mean, we could always see the Ness, but from the DCHS side, Inverse back in this, presumably going to be back on the Joker as well. So we're not going to see that that 212 Majora rematch, and I think that's a pretty smart decision from the DCHS side.
Yeah.
I just couldn't keep up with the Lucas. I think part of that was Terry as a character as well, just not playing super well into that. So yeah, shake things up a little bit, get a different actual match in here. So we've got our final picks. Lucas versus Joker, that has been confirmed character-wise. We'll just have to see where we start. Surprisingly, I don't actually think I mentioned so much how players will just opt for the neutral small battlefield and just agree to start on that. I don't think we saw a single small battlefield, just mostly the PS2, which is, I mean, another 2-plat stage. It's like, it's almost the same stage as small battlefield. You switch up the blast zones, and of course, I think, on small battlefield, you can actually go under the main stage there as well. So a little bit different in that regard, but plays very similar when you're actually on stage and dealing with things there. Just depends on the kind of character you play. I mean, sometimes on PS2 as well, if you've got a character who's got like one of the wall jumps as well, you can actually live a little bit extra from those rather than just falling out into the void, into the blast zone. So you got options there. I wouldn't be surprised if we start Pokemon once again, but we're actually heading to a completely different IP. I think we might have seen Town and City once, but we're heading to Smashville for our first set of our final series here. 2-2, Jobin. Man, I couldn't even give you a prediction right now. I've got faith in 212, but Inverse, we saw what they did in Game 2. If they can keep these adjustments moving and maybe not get off too far behind in Game 1 like they did up against Kai, could see them keeping things nice and competitive here. 212 yet to really find anyone that actually makes them break a sweat, it feels like.
Yeah, and obviously there's been a good amount of action early. I'm almost expecting the players now to maybe start off each round and not necessarily go for go instantly and try to get the first stock right away. Oh! Inverse did play extremely well in that first set as well, so I think this is a player that you can be confident in. Obviously, Joker as a pick itself is extremely strong. You know it's not going to be the reason that you necessarily lose this matchup, so 1v1 for all the marbles. We wouldn't have it any other way, and so far, no one able to grab that first stock.
Yeah, and the Joker does feel quite good as well, mainly because you have the counter to play into that projectile game, so without Arsene, you're just soaking up damage and you're getting to Arsene that much faster. And once you do have the Arsene, you actually get to bounce projectiles back and reflect them back, similar to, like a Fox Shine or a K-Rool or something like that. You've got those options, so that's going to be nice, much nicer than say, Terry's options into the Lucas. And we can already see that just percentage-wise. 212 did take a stock, but things are looking a lot more dire on the first stock for 212. Nothing too concerning just yet. A couple times off stage, and there you go. The back air to finish it off for Inverse. And still not too far behind. 63% of extra credit for Will.
Yeah, definitely. As long as you keep the game close, because obviously you're not going to be able to win it in 1 or 2 combos, but if you can keep the game close, at least keep that other player at arm's reach, you at least
That's
give
gonna
yourself a
hurt,
good
though.
chance. But yeah, that one feels a little bit rough for Inverse. You did all that fantastic work, and then Lucas just hangs a 70-80 point combo on you, and then you are off to the right. And now you've got 1 stock left, and we already see 212 back in their bag. And speaking of, with authority.
The back air spike from the Lucas. I don't even think we saw that in the previous series. It was a lot of those down airs, but that one, the back air is one of those moves in Smash that just has sauce. That's the only way I can put it. You do a little backflip, and you have to hit a crazy sweet spot to actually get that spike as well. And of course, Will, clearly a near master of this character, because just pops it out off the ledge. Perfect sweet spot on that one. Finds the spike. And game 1, done and dusted. It's going over to Will and the Patriots. Inverse, you got to live up to your name right now. Give the exact opposite in this next one. And I will say, I think, could it have been the players? Could it have been the characters? Regardless of how it shook out and really what the the deeper analysis is, was a lot more even than the last time we saw Will on this one. So definitely was given a little bit of resistance. And I think we also saw it inside the game there, kind of forced 212 to step it up a little bit towards the end and really lock in.
Yeah, you just do the old lean up in the chair and 90 degrees forward, basically, and just like, now I'm in the zone.
You've got, like, we're playing the game, and then I'm winning the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Yeah. I'm up 3-0, 2 stocks get taken, and instantly you get the
Game
full
5.
lean toward the screen.
Yeah,
game 5 championship mentality.
45-degree angle right there at the waist. Just
Looks
straight
like
into the screen.
A run back, at least for the characters. Map
Yeah,
is
100%
TBD,
there. So we still have the same ones, and I didn't expect any character changes, right? The Lucas is working out so well. You're not just going to switch over to the Ness with the Lucas still working perfectly fine.
Mid-grand finals point.
Yeah, mid-grand finals. I mean, the characters are similar enough where it could definitely work, but Lucas, much more, I want to say, like, combo and movement oriented. Ness, grabs, and that's what you do on Ness. You grab, and when you don't have a grab, you try to forward air and grab another grab when they fall on the ground, and just keep grabbing them. And Lucas does kind of the same thing with the little snake, but I mean, you see a lot more of, like, the aerial game, those neutral airs coming out, playing neutral arrow to shield has been, I think, one of Will's just strongest options. Just being able to pop out, you get 2, 3, 4 hits, and maybe even chain it into another one, get some control back on the stage. So you have those options right there. We are headed back into game. Check out exactly what stage we're on here, and it's Hollow Bastion. So we went from Smashville to Kingdom Hearts Smashville.
I mean, listen, slightly different flavor, same recipe.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful backgrounds to a stage. Like, I think Final Destination is definitely up there as well, alongside the Mega Man stages with hazards off. Obviously not competitive legal. But this is a Will performance if we've ever seen it before. And of course you got to bring your A game here in Grand Finals. This is not even the A game. This is like the triple S plus tier.
Yeah, and for 212 right now, do you think they can smell and taste that championship? Because this is a player that has been playing inspired all throughout the Grand Finals. You have one last hurdle in front of you, 2 measly stocks to take off of Inverse, and you can crown yourselves and the rest of Patriot Smash 1 the high school champions. But obviously, still a tall task in front of you. Inverse has played extremely well throughout the day, but you also have to imagine the pressure of the moment. Even if Inverse maybe isn't, you know, super nervous or feeling it, it's like your entire season and your team, they're relying on you to make a play right here, right now.
Oh, 180 as well. That counter's got to feel good every time you can not have to take, 7-8%. Got to get back to the ledge here. Oh, burnt up the invincibility, but I think Will had a great option to try and convert into something there and just got caught off guard by the fact that I think they actually hit the first attack there. And Inverse just gets to flip that situation around, no pun intended. Find the pick
like
for
now.
themselves. 100%. Oh, a back air like that's gonna hurt. And just not enough space. Oh, even with the Arsene recovery.
Yeah, and that cooldown, it's going to be a little bit longer till you get it back for Inverse. So your base trying to play on borrowed time for at least some of your percentage and some of that bar as far as it goes. But 2-12, zone defense to the right and lock in the championship for Patriot Smash. It was a almost flawless performance from the Lucas, just death-defying and just impressive all the rest of it. And Patriot Smash, Game 5 you went. It wasn't the 3-0 that you were running through the last couple of weeks going through that bracket. You got tested here on the server today. And the best part about winning a championship is when you have to work for it and you have to battle back and you have to face some adversity. They checked all those boxes today, and that is going to feel so, so good for them.